Welcome to Salento with love and this very special series called Palazzo Zuccalà. We're on episode 2. This legacy may go on for months, who knows, maybe years, but it started very long time ago. If you haven't watched the first episode, please watch the first episode on our YouTube channel of Palazzo Zuccalà. Palazzo Zuccalà, right behind us. An extraordinary story. I have called this project Palazzo Zuccalà. Bit of noise. But why have I called it Palazzo Zuccalà? Well, in the first episode, I may have mentioned it. I can't remember. I did it a few months ago. But the family that constructed this property and lived in it for over 130 years was the same family with the same name of Zuccalà. I have decided to keep that legacy. We have spoken already on the first episode about the property, why I've chosen this property, what was so special about the energy that I felt. But today I want to step inside and show you some details. On the first episode, we finished it with a couple of details of the inside of the property. Now, I would like to share with you a little more. This is a property that we really need to unveil gently. I haven't told you the story of the family yet, and I may disclose the story of the family. So we're just stepping inside. We need to turn some lights on, so bear with me in a little bit of darkness for a few seconds. First of all, every time I come in here, I feel a very powerful energy. This property was constructed, I know you're watching this video and you're a little bit in the dark, so just stay like that for a while. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, it'll be a fantastic way to watch this series developing over months and months. But when I first stepped in this property back in September of last year, it was like somebody punched me right through the stomach, and it took me a few months, well actually it took me a few weeks to make a decision and a few months to formulate an offer and acquiring this property. Every time I step in here, the feeling and the sensation is the same. I'm going to turn some lights on and then open some doors and windows. Yes. So as you walk in, can you hear the echo? Yes, some people may think I need a better microphone. You're right, but unfortunately the GoPro Max doesn't allow me to put an external mic, although we are working on this. But this beautiful echo is due to these beautiful ceilings. The shape of the ceilings and the way it transports sounds. The way they were built, it was amazing. This is about 5 meters in height, and the details that you are seeing around the edges is not a wallpaper, it's actually hand painted. It's got a fantastic courtyard right there, which the first time I came to see this property, it was the house of pigeons for a very long period of time, so I didn't actually get to see it really well because of that, but I want to share it with you now. I've cleaned it a few times. Unfortunately there's a few pigeons around, so if anything flies around, don't get scared. We've put a mesh right at the top there, but you're looking at undisturbed history. Yes, and this is the access to the secret space that we'll go through later. But this has been undisturbed for 130 years. So as you walk through that front door there that we just came through, you can see this empty space. It's been totally vacated. The people that lived there, or the last person that lived there when she died, left everything intact. Unfortunately, they decided to clear it all, but the upstairs floor has been left intact, and that's going to be a journey that I would like to share with you. So as you're coming through this door, you probably remember from the outside these two beautiful balcony doors on each side of the property, And the bedrooms, look at the size of these bedrooms. Now we want to get some natural light in here, so how amazing this is. These doors probably haven't been open for a very, very long time. Yes, we're right on the street there with a beautiful balcony door. And I love it. Look at these star-shaped ceilings. And the floor, this cementina floor. But this is not, you see this cementina floor, because we see cementina very often, but then sometimes you can tell some cementina from other cementina, the period. And these are definitely really, really old. They will probably go back to, I would say, beginning of the century, last century. So 1890 to 1900 to probably just a little bit later than that, but definitely not the latest one that we see in the 1940s and 1950s, a lot more colorful and full of flowers, patterns, and these are fantastic, even in terms of these shapes. What are they? Beautiful. It looks almost like a creature, like an alien with that design, but look at this wavy pattern. And you see the way cementina were made, they have a layer on the top which is very, very thin of marble, and this is how the color was achieved. The smoothness of this is just special. You can still see how it shines, and to think that this is about 100, 110, 120 years old, it's incredible. And obviously it needs to be preserved and it needs to be kept. And it's exactly what I'm going to do by keeping this legacy. I very often talk about legacy. Again, you can hear the echo here, and obviously a little bit of traffic. See, buying a property that it's right on the main road didn't really disturb me. I actually felt that was a very plus. It was a big plus for me. I don't know how to explain it. Actually, if I step outside, we'll reduce the echo a little bit, just on this balcony. And yeah, just there, overlooking the road with this beautiful cast iron. Look at the thickness of this. It's just so incredibly thick, probably about 1 centimeter in thickness, and this needs to be all stripped and cleaned, so all the details of the pattern is going to be exposed when this is done. Like I was saying in my previous video, during the Second World War, a lot of this was lost. They were taking them off, but probably because this was a very wealthy family that managed to keep this beautiful original cast iron work. But going back to what I was saying earlier, sometimes people want a property in a little secluded place. I can understand that. I really understand that. But I think sometimes it's nice to hear that you're part of the world. And you can shut doors and windows and be secluded if that's what you want. But also, what a nice way of exposing something. And when this property goes back to the full glory, isn't it going to be amazing, the fact that hundreds, on the year, thousands of people are going to drive past and look at this and thinking, wow, isn't it amazing that somebody has injected some beauty back in that building? And that's exactly what's going to happen. I hope you follow this channel on our YouTube channel, and please subscribe, because I'm going to carry on producing these videos on this Palazzo Zuccalà. I really want to share with you the development of this property and the story behind this palazzo, because it is really a very rare, actually unique story. So this cast iron, these doors and windows, which we'll see what happens if we refurbish them or replace them, but I mean they're really beautiful with this, what they used to call oscuranti. We can close this, it's a little easier to manage. And all these levers, look, they still work perfectly well. I mean, in them days, maintenance was very important. People did things in a way that they needed to be maintained, but at the same time, they were beautiful. All of this is brass. Look at that beautiful solid brass there. And look at the mechanism involved in locking this door, and then this locking the light, so giving total blackouts. Obviously the glass is still probably the original glass, so not really good when it comes to heat and cool, so we'll work on that. But beautiful to see how this family has preserved the features. On this back wall here, we can tell that there must have been a really big bed there. And how can we tell? Well, we got some electric points at the back there, and we have a switch. No. Oh, it works. And look at the type of cable. This is, I believe, the silk cable, and these are all made in ceramic. I mean, it's covered in paint, where this is not a wallpaper, this is actually all hand painted. So they painted the ceramic bits that the cable came through, and it's beautiful when you see the original wiring. It's all done with the silk twisted cable. Yeah. And this is the switch. What does it say? Oh, my eyesight, guys. Something deviatore. I want more keen to find out where it was made. I mean, now a lot of the things that we have are made in China. Nothing wrong with that, but this is probably made in Italy. And this is a little old socket. Yeah, completely different to what they use today in Italy. And you can tell this has been added on afterwards, probably in the 1950s or 60s, or probably even 70s, because you can tell by the cable. A little bit of beauty was lost in the 60s and 70s. I keep saying this, but it's very obvious that things were done with a lot of more care and beauty up until a certain point, and then something kind of happened. Yeah, lovely details. The star-shaped ceilings, really, really high. And look at this internal door. Again, we don't know what's going to. I don't know what's going to happen with this internal door. I need to think. But I love this beautiful handle, also made of brass. And oh, it must have had a key because it's got a lock for the key there. I wonder if we can find the key somewhere and bring them back to life again. But this is one of the rooms here. Well, I'll share that room on the other side on our next video and the rest of the Palazzo. I hope you enjoy this series of Palazzo Zuccalà. I think bringing back the life and turning it into a 21st century building, continuing or extending the legacy, it's always one of the massive challenges that we have when we are confronted with so much beauty and history as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and put a like, leave a comment. Until next time, stay safe.